everybody, it's Safi and Marco, dish out on the movies. And guess what? We're doing a review and recap of tonight's episode of Masterchef Junior. It is episode 4.
Season 8.
Season 8.
Episode 4.
I said that.
Donut holes and hold your nose, which is another stupid, dumb title. Like, what is it with these titles? Like, just what is the deal with these titles?
And the thing is, the donut holes, that's pretty self-explanatory. They had to make donut hole towers, which I didn't hear that at the beginning. The tower part, they had this kind of like cone thing that's like a Christmas tree without the branches, and then they'd have to make how many flavors were they supposed to make?
2.
Okay, 2 flavors of donut holes.
It's like, I've never seen a donut hole tower before. Like,
I haven't either.
What is that? Like something fat people have in their kitchens or something? Like, what is that?
I don't think I've seen that in any bakery.
Like, when I get donut holes, I just get them in a little baggie, or I get them in a little box. I don't have a donut hole tower. What about the flies?
And they're in
you want the flies to get on your donut holes? You want them to put maggots inside your donut holes so that you can have some maggot-filled donut holes?
They're always in a case. Like we have Tim Hortons here, even though this isn't Canada. It's Ohio. And they have them in a case. And then I'm trying to think any other time I've seen donut holes are in a box to buy. Or a bag.
Dunkin' Donuts has donut holes as well in a case.
Okay.
They put them in a bag.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's the deal with this donut hole tower.
And
like,
one girl forgot that he told her to go get the tower, and she goes, "Oops," but she did good, I guess.
I guess it's just a fun way of presenting them. Like, I don't understand. Like,
yeah, because they were all like metallic looking, like gold.
I don't understand though. Like, what's the importance of a donut hole tower?
I don't know, I guess it's something simple. Instead of having them make donuts, which would have been a little bit more complicated because there's more to it.
Well, if they just made donuts, they'd have to put them all in like a donut box, like they usually do. They put them all in a little box.
That's the
a dozen box.
What are those?
Macaroons.
Macaroons.
They
usually do that.
Too.
They're in a box, and they have to be all pretty. And
why did they make donut holes? Because Gordon's daughter came, and she came for this.
Her name is Tilly.
She came for this first half, and Safi. What happened?
Well,
what happened?
She was just kind of part of the challenge, introducing it, and then going around with. Who did she go around with? Aaron? Or
she went around with Gordon.
Her father. Well, that would make sense.
That led to some very funny happenings. But it started off with this really weird scripted thing, and I don't know if she said it, if that's her personal opinion or what, but it's probably one of the weirdest things that they've said on the show, which is, do you know what's missing from donuts? Donut holes! And it's like, wait, what? Like, just what? Like, whoever eats a donut and then thinks, oh, I really wish the hole was in this donut. Like, there's donuts that have holes in them. There's Boston cream pies. There's the twists, the sugar twists. There's the cinnamon rolls. Muffins aren't donuts, but you know what I mean. The Long Johns. So it's not like all donuts don't have the holes, and like the holes are just more of the donuts.
It's just a different kind of donut.
She should have just said, like, you know what I like more than donuts? Donut holes. She should have said it like that.
Yeah, I just don't think that was written well.
Proposing this question of like, oh, what's missing from donuts? The donut holes, I
don't know, but anyway,
okay.
So they had to make at least two. I think there was a couple people made three.
Flavors.
But important, the problem for us, and not just this challenge, for the other one, is we don't get to see everybody's stuff. So,
Well, we'll get to that. Before they finish the challenge, Tilly goes around with her father, and they go up to the slob. And now you guys know that we have a bet that if the slob gets to the finale, which I hope he does,
I don't think so.
Safi will cook a Masterchef Junior recipe for me, well, for both of us, well, for dinner. And then if he doesn't get to the finale, I am gonna have to cook a MasterChef Junior cookbook recipe, so that'll be fun. And he's having a hard time, which hopefully he gets better. Like in the last episode, the fair one, where he got really good, and
That's because he focused.
he destroyed his whole team, who picked him last. But in this episode, Tilly comes to his table and he starts flirting with her, which was pretty funny. I was like, oh God. and that's not the worst part. Then he starts eating all of his own donuts.
He did. He was, and I was shocked. I've never seen any contestant, child or adult, ever do that. Where they just constantly eating. I mean, I'm not talking about just one donut hole. I'm talking about 4 or 5.
I think he had 3 or 4.
Well, he had more than one.
And
it wasn't 2.
It's like, okay, we've called him the slob for the past couple episodes. Like, now, I think, like, we should call him Larry Mondello from Leave It to Beaver, because that's now what he's reminding me of.
Well, to me, I'm thinking he was doing that because he was nervous.
I know, I think that... But
I don't know.
I don't know why. It was really weird. He was eating so many donut holes. He was like Scarface.
And the thing is,
when he snorts all of his cocaine, his whole face is covered in cocaine. That's what it was like, but with donut holes.
Well, the point of the competition was, first they had to do the 2 different flavors, or the criteria. And you had to have the donuts holes go all the way to the top, and it had to look like a nice donut tree. So there couldn't be these big gaping holes in between the donuts. They all had to be, it was like symmetrical. And then, since you're making more than one flavor, you kind of, it probably would be to your benefit to make them look different. In other words, one that had, let's say, lemon poppy seeds would have one kind of look and one kind of color. And then if you made a strawberry one, these are just like obvious ones, that would have another color. So you would put them all out on the tree in a way that makes it look decorative.
With his, he couldn't do that because he ate them all.
He was eating them all. So there wasn't, he had a big gaping hole area in the top because he couldn't get the donuts up there because he was scarfing them down.
And Gordon was so upset that he flirted with his daughter that he actually started like poking fun at him and saying that they're yummy yummy in his tummy. And I thought, like, God, Gordon is like, he is really like in the next level in this season. Like, he is just, you thought that he was kind of mean sometimes in this show, but he's at the next level now. Especially after what the slob did with his daughter.
Yeah, but I don't think they're still children. They are not adults. And they, despite, let's say, one's gifted, I can tell.
You can tell he wants to destroy these kids. Like, he wants to, because, if they were adults like
the slob, they would be all over the floor.
Yeah, they would be, like, dead, probably.
I mean, yeah, but anyway, I don't like that. That's one thing I don't like. They are kids, and they don't know everything. And the pregnant woman,
Daphne.
The problem, she keeps saying, this is the second time for her to say that. She may have even said it more. She said to one of them, she goes, well, this just isn't restaurant quality. I'm like, God bless it. Give me a break. These kids, here they are. They're young, okay? They're young kids. We have just had a year or two's worth of COVID, still going on a little bit, but
No,
not as
no.
heavy. And no, they have not been able to go to a restaurant.
Yeah, well, they should have gone anyway to prepare for Masterchef Junior.
Well, I
And
know that, but I mean, you have.
oh,
when
you
these-
admitted it.
when you have these adult Master Chef people, they have had plenty of years of experience being able to go to at least a restaurant a year or a couple times a year. But these kids are young. They used to be little toddlers
But Safi, the one thing that I
sitting
would
in high
say,
chairs in the restaurant.
the one thing I would say is that even though that, I mean, I think they have classes that are off camera.
I
They
don't
have
know.
classes to teach them. But the thing is that we just went to this shitty restaurant called Pasha Grill a week or so ago,
It was
and it was some of the worst. I mean, every time we go to a restaurant now for a special occasion, it is the worst food ever. It is just terrible. It's like if we go to a restaurant for a special occasion, it's gonna be a shit occasion. And with this Pasha Grill, we went there. They're supposedly a really good
and
restaurant.
I'd never
And-
been there before. Marco has never. Have you ever had food from there?
No.
So,
And we
You
got
ever-
it. We got it, and it was not restaurant quality in the slightest, even though it came from a restaurant. And so, what's your excuse for that? And it wasn't even plated well.
Yeah.
You don't even want to know. And the thing was that I had lamb chops, and they were burnt and overcooked. And even though they were overcooked, I was sick for the next few hours, the whole evening, because I ate that. And Safi got sick the whole night. And so this was some bizarre, gross food. And but it came from a restaurant, and it was not restaurant quality. So why are these kids being held to a higher standard than an actual restaurant with 5 stars?
well, I don't think Pasha Girl has 5 stars. Not
People
even-
give it 5 stars. They say this is the best restaurant we have around here.
Bull.
Yeah, they do.
Well, that's hard to believe.
It's pretty bad.
Get better food at KFC and at Big Boy.
Get better food at Taco Bell.
Well, depends on what you get.
Well,
It's
anything.
It's always cold by the
Anything
time
is
we
better.
get home. I just can't stand
I
it.
would take the worst Taco Bell menu item ever, and it is still better than what we had at Pasha Grill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, we're kind of also venting with our food because we just had shitty Chinese dinner. I'm very unhappy about it. Not happy. Because
So
I got a dinner. I didn't just get one dish.
you got 3.
And what you get with the dinner, you get a choice of 3 soups, egg drop, sweet and sour, and wonton. And then you get I can't think what it's called, it has cream
You
cheese
get
in
an
it,
egg roll,
and an egg roll.
and you get an entree. And Safi got these 3 things,
Because
and
I thought if I didn't like something,
she
there would
thought
always be something to fall back on.
she had a little contingent plan, and she ended up having triple trash.
Yeah.
And they didn't even give us any fortune cookies either, which is pretty weird.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I didn't even think about that.
Or any sauce. So very, very gross dinner. But that's beside
It's just-
the
yeah,
point.
That's all.
But it is another restaurant, and they didn't give us restaurant quality food, so
Nope.
where's the quality? I guess it all starts here in MasterChef Junior. They have to start quality control somewhere. And but they get to the end of this donut competition, and this is yet again another thing where we don't get to see all of the contestants' donuts.
Which I think is terrible.
Yeah.
Because I want to. I'm curious.
It really puts a damper on the whole show, because with the past years, we felt like we've been able to fairly, for the most part, critique their judgments and the food that the people make without actually eating it,
because they showed everybody.
because they showed everything. But now it's almost like they're censoring it so that we can't have a fair judgment. like, oh, you thought that you were going to be able to say that they're being biased. Oh, you can't say that anymore because you didn't even get to see all of the contestants' food. So
Right.
that's really trash. It really is irritating. That is definitely the biggest problem I have with this season so far is that we don't get to see all the dishes. And they're getting rid of kids. Like they're getting rid of people, trimming down the cast, and still we can't see all the dishes. It's like it's pathetic.
Yeah. So anyway, the people they pick were I don't know what you call it, the little girl with the pearls,
My Fair Masterchef Junior.
and then a little girl last week. She's kind of like she's very perfect.
She's like a school teacher, so
She's very
she's
exacting, and she's very detail oriented.
what's the teacher for Matilda? Miss Honey. Okay, she can be Miss Honey. And then who's the last person? Oh yeah,
Very.
I can't remember her name. I can't remember any of their names.
I don't know her name because we've hardly
'Cause-
ever gotten to see her cooking.
Yeah.
I don't think we got to see her cooking the last 2 weeks.
They kind of hide her in the background like she's wallpaper or something. Like
She's an African American girl, and she has very pretty hair. And it's all tied up, which is good because I don't get that. Some of those other girls have their hair down, straight down, and she's not going to get hair in her food, but some of those girls could.
Safi, which one of their hairs would you least be upset about
I don't want
getting in
any
your food?
hair getting in my food.
Okay.
I don't care who it belongs to.
Okay.
But anyway, those three girls, they are the ones that made it, and the only one out of the three.
Well, I would say
who I
that
thought Miss Honey, if you want to call her that, she actually hers was perfect.
hers look good, but I can't make any judgment because I didn't get to see all of the donuts,
Yeah,
so I
know.
can't say
Yeah,
like
it's really it doesn't feel right for us to even judge because we don't get to see everybody's.
I will say My Fair Master Chef Junior. Her donuts, they had all these pearls and shit sprinkled all over them.
Yeah, those little
And-
they're little metallic looking balls at Christmas time that
She
you've
had,
seen
like,
on cookies.
Colored things like colorful sprinkles or something too, all over the donuts like randomly. And I thought for sure that Gordon wouldn't like that because
Yeah,
it looked sloppy. But he loved it. He thought it was amazing. And so I thought like, oh God, Gordon, like, oh, Gordon, oh. Too busy focusing on the slob hitting on your daughter.
Well, anyway, I guess they did try their donuts, and they did because I remember, and they did like the flavors, and that they were distinctly different from each other, which they had to have two, and they had to be different, and so they all three managed to do that, and they weren't sloppy,
And the
not
second,
really.
and then Tilly left, unfortunately, and the slob was very upset, and I think that's why he didn't do well the second half was because he was very I don't know. Gordon actually at the end it was really funny. Gordon called him petulant.
He was. But anyway, the second challenge was a mystery box challenge. And it was the three girls that we just talked about. They got to go upstairs and just watch.
They didn't get any donuts.
They were safe from elimination. No, they all got a donut at the beginning. Remember, they had a big,
Oh yeah.
like a
forgot.
billboard that had every flavor of donut in the planet. And they could pick one up. The problem is some of them were so short, they could only reach up so far, and the thing went very high. I didn't get that.
So in the second half, they got this mystery box challenge full of quote unquote like smelly foods or something, and they were supposed to make them into like good foods, good smelling and tasting foods.
Not all of them. They'd
And-
have to use all of them.
And
They were all main course items.
they all had pretty interesting ideas, except for like a few. And I really liked, actually, I thought that Aram was the highlight of the episode because of how he was going around, what he was saying to people, and he actually helped out the slob because I think that he actually likes the slob, unlike Gordon. And so I thought that was good because, I want him to be in the finale.
Well, he
so
was
that,
very positive,
yeah.
and I really like that too.
And so he was actually the highlight of this episode for me.
And he cut his finger while he
What?
was cooking.
Aaron cut his finger? Aaron the judge?
No, oh, Aaron. You're
What
talking
the
about Aaron. I'm
fuck?
talking about the Indian boy.
Yeah, he's a beer.
They both start with A.
He's a beer. Go get me a beer.
Well, one of the kids cut, and that was him. He actually cut his finger, and while he was, and he needed, it was at a very on his favored hand, which I'm saying the one he uses more.
And guess what? We didn't even get to see what he made.
No, they didn't see it, but he didn't get.
And then
What they did was they went around, and did they show everybody when they went around?
I think so. I mean, they showed like all the different concepts. I guess like the Asian girl. I was excited to see hers because she said that she was cooking sweetbreads for the first time. She was really excited to cook them and see how they turned out. And so I was excited to see like how they turned out. And then we didn't even get to see them.
No, we didn't.
And we didn't really get to see anyone's except for the quote unquote bottom four.
Right.
And I thought, this is stupid. Like, it's like we felt cheated. We felt cheated on the show.
Yeah.
That we didn't get to see everything. Especially with a beer. What about him? I mean, these are traditional like TV, like obvious things. Like you have the payoff of, okay, what happened with a beer? What happened with him? Did he fail? Did he do a good job? What did he do after he had that finger thing? So it's like, these are obvious things and they're just like failing. It's like they're not even putting any effort into making this a show. It's like they're just like, oh, people will like it because it's Masterchef Junior.
Well,
Which
I just don't. I like to see even if they don't make a lot of comments about it.
just like
I
to
like
see
to see what
everything.
everybody does.
Yeah, you know what they should do? They should post deleted scenes on social media, and they should post pictures. Because I looked on Twitter, and the official MasterChef Junior Twitter was posting little clips from the episode, and I thought, this is a huge waste. Instead of doing this, you should just post deleted scenes and pictures of the dishes that we didn't get to see.
Yeah.
Like, what did they think about the Slob's donuts? Because they were these chocolate donuts, and if they were that tasty, then, I want to see what they thought about them. So, again, we felt cheated. Cheated.
Yeah.
And in the bottom four, I knew who was going to go home, the magician. I knew that the magician was going to go home.
He was the boy with the hat.
His concept was the worst one for me because it just seemed like he was throwing a bunch of random things together, as Aaron said.
Mm-hmm.
And
the problem with his dish,
even
though the rest of the other kids did the same thing, they made this mistake plating. They did not plate the food properly. So they had this thing called the star of the dish. Well, one kid did everything perfectly, but it was hidden away because he picked a tiny little plate.
Oh, and this plate is very special to me because we went to this Italian restaurant in Chicago one time, and they had this exact same plate, and I got lobster ravioli in it. And not only was it bad and it tasted like it was frozen, but it was in this weird plate, and I thought that, like, this is the stupidest plate I've ever seen.
It's like a giant saucer.
Yeah, and I thought it was a joke. Like, I thought this has to be a joke. Like, there's no way people actually serve food in this stupid-ass shit, a dish. And, like, it's this little tiny compartment you have to dig through, and
that's what happened with him.
And I thought that's a good point, but he didn't really deserve to be in the bottom four.
No, he didn't
at all.
And we think they put him in there as a red herring.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And
to make him feel threatened or something.
yeah, but they loved everything in his meal, his dish, except the fact the way he put it together. But the problem is he was hampered by the space on the plate.
I was surprised by the slob because he had a great idea
And he cooked his food.
where he tasted this salad that he really liked, this French salad, and then he replaced tuna with octopus. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. And then he just didn't put it together properly.
Right.
And basically, the bottom four, all of them struggled with putting the plate together.
Yeah, but the problem with the one that had to go home,
The magician.
his food was not cooked.
Yeah, his octopus was not only undercooked, but his dish was also like oily and bland.
Oh.
And I could tell that it was going to be like that from like all the different elements. They just sounded like a bunch of random ingredients thrown together.
Yeah,
So-
he just wasn't.
What would you rate this episode, Safi? What would you rate this? Because I felt really
I'd give it a
cheated.
C minus because
I'd give it a D plus.
just because we didn't get to see everybody, and
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't even feel like I could properly evaluate, even though it was obvious, like you said, about who was going to go home because the kid did not cook his food properly, and the other three had. There were four people with which to choose. One, the Asian boy, because he says he's part Asian. He said that his food was really good, but plated terribly, and we think he is a red herring.
Yeah, I think I'll call him Batman Beyond.
Oh, I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Because he looks like Batman Beyond.
But he did.
He didn't deserve to be there. We've already
No.
said that. So
And he's really, and they said too that they were surprised that he was even there. Well, gee, if he's the red herring, that's just what you're saying is a lie. So, because you put him there intentionally. That's what red herrings are. They put somewhere intentionally to divert your attention away from the one who's really going to get knocked out.
I knew that. Oh yeah, and with the barbecue girl, she
The
actually
Missouri girl.
she exposed herself because she reverted back to her Missouri type of food.
Yeah, she was talking
And-
about having biscuits for breakfast and biscuits and gravy when
And
she was
slaw and slaw.
Yeah.
And so it just shows that, like, okay, she might not win because she's too one-dimensional. She doesn't, like, this was supposed to be like a different dish. This wasn't supposed to be a Missouri barbecue meal.
cooking. Right.
And that's
Right.
what it seemed like she did. And so I was surprised that she didn't go home simply for the fact that, you know, at
She
least...
cooked her food, though.
Oh, yeah, they both... Actually, the magician was worse, but still, I was surprised because, you know, she exposed herself there. Like, that was that's weakness
Yeah.
in this competition. And so, Safi,
Well, and we saw scenes for next week.
the next week isn't relevant, Safi. It's
Well,
just this episode.
it'll be interesting to see what happens with the boys
Yeah, like Mafia Don
because we think there might be a problem coming up.
and the slob.
With ones that we already thought there might be a problem.
And he better not go home, Safi. He better not. He better not.
Yeah, so I think that's about it. We
It is, Safi.
rated the episode. We gave it a
Say
recap.
the last thing so we
So,
can end
if
it.
you would like to subscribe, we welcome all new subscribers. It's fun to see what people have to say. Are you watching this show? Do you like cooking shows? If you don't watch this cooking show, what cooking shows do you watch?
But why would they be on this video if they watch other shows and not this?
Because they're not on at the same time.
What? But why would they be on this video? Like, watching this video
I don't know.
all the way to the end?
And then, if you like this video, please press the like button. We'd appreciate that too. So, goodbye
Goodbye, everybody.